enough. This is our time now.
That's good.
What's happening, Sip and Chill family? It is your guy, Coach Reg, and welcome back to the lounge. I absolutely missed you guys, and be sure to say hello when you get here. Man, I guess you know, some of you have seen the messages. Welcome to those of you viewing in the private Facebook group, Sip and Chill with Coach Reg, and welcome to those who are viewing live on YouTube. Excited you're here. Welcome back, welcome back. So yeah, it's your guy, Coach Reg. Relationship coach, founder of Are You Coached, which is a relationship coaching platform geared toward helping individuals identify, participate, strengthen, and sustain relationships. It is my clients are high-achieving professional men and women who have attained many of their professional goals, but may not yet have the interpersonal relationships that best serve and complement them. Right. So we work around those things. We coach around those things. And so it's quite exciting. And so we created a private Facebook group called Sip and Chill with Coach Reg, which is a virtual lounge that we've now extended to YouTube, right? Where members learn to start, strengthen, and sustain relationships. And so I'm excited to be back with you. I'm excited to be on a new medium, a new platform, and to broadcast in two places at the same time is kind of cool. So I'm glad you're here with me. Got to tell you, very excited about the past couple of weeks. Just some exciting times. And so I'll quickly share before we get into why you are really here. But yeah, so a couple of weeks ago, we did a virtual relationship conference. Friday was Sip and Chill. So Thursday, a couple of weeks ago, 2 Thursdays ago, we did a virtual relationship conference. Friday, we had Sip and Chill. Saturday, we were on radio in Houston. How cool is that, right? That was awesome. Really good broadcast if you get a chance to listen. And Sunday was on a podcast in Atlanta. And then Monday, a podcast was released that I'd honestly forgotten we had recorded many months ago with a dear friend, Charlene McWilliams. So it was really good. So excited about that. It's been a great week. As you can tell, we've added some things to the show. And that's something that we're going to do going forward. So be sure to stay tuned to the end because I got some more for you. That's kind of cool. But yeah, just excited. Got some new clients going to be working with soon. And yeah, that can be you too. If coaching is something that you believe is of value and it's an investment that you're willing to make in yourself, in your life, your loves and relationships, bit.ly Coach Reg session is where you need to go to schedule your no obligation chemistry session. Yeah, we talk about coaching. So anyway, let's get to it. Man, like I said, I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited that you're here. So what I do in the group, for those of you who are seeing this on YouTube, let me kind of give you some context, right? So week to week, we have we have topics, content that that hopefully add value, right? Because they're around relationships, interpersonal relationships. And so we talk about those things and I ask questions around those things. And so as you know, we're going to talk about tonight how to turn complaints into requests, right? And so I ask questions around how you do that. And so I just wanted to highlight a few folks, and anyone can respond, anyone can do so. It's just sometimes people's answers and responses I choose to highlight and share with you. Okay, so here we go. So one of the questions I'd ask this week, how has nagging or complaining affected your relationships? Lisa said, it's like scraping nails against the chalkboard. Lakeisha said, it has deterred discussion and conversation because the other party will avoid communicating to avoid what they perceive as nagging. On the other side of the coin, I think some use nagging because they don't want to address the discussion at hand and thus use it as a deflecting tool. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely can happen. Nikki said, when a person nags or complains, I'll disengage altogether and remove myself from the equation until concise, positive dialogue occurs. No person wants or desires to be in a negative headspace due to the other's lack of effective communication skills. And another question that was asked, how has requesting from your mate served you more than complaining to your mate? Sherry said, we treat each other like we like to be treated. I try, but he is awesome at knowing the right thing to say or do, so I really have nothing to complain about. Amazingly intuitive, and he observes me closely. I'm lucky and I digress. People don't feel attacked when you make it a request rather than criticism. Tamika says, it makes a world of difference. I rarely complain to my husband verbally, although in my head it's totally different. Once I figure out the best way to communicate my issue to him, then we talk about it. He usually is agreeable to my requests, but undoubtedly it's because of the way that I address him. If I complain or nag him, he's usually not that receptive, especially at that moment. So what are we hearing? It's a common theme. It's how we talk to each other, right? It's how we communicate. And so we're going to get into some thoughts that I have around it, but I definitely share yours. Definitely will take your questions as I can. And yeah, we won't be here long, but it's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be kind of cool. So, one last question I wanted to share. I thought it was kind of funny. I'd ask, what steps have you taken to lessen frustrations? What steps have you taken to lessen frustrations from nagging or complaining? And Raina said, I'm working on that one, LOL. So good on you, Ray. Good on you. Good on you. So yeah, here we go, guys. Here we go. And ladies, excited you're here. I really, really am. Be sure to tell me how you like the new format too. I think this is, I think it's going to work and serve us well going forward. All right, turning complaints into requests. How do I do that? In relationships, constructive and productive communication is a premium. I'd argue that most people believe good communication is essential for relationship success. I imagine you would agree, right? I can't tell you how many people I speak with that they say that communication is so important. It's vital. And I don't disagree. I think that there's some additional layers to look at though. And I say this often, and I'll share some of that in a bit. But yeah, it's not just conversing. It's not just we had a conversation. But if those conversations aren't supported with a framework or structure, you're just talking and destined to repeat it again. So the next conversation until the next offense. So someone says something that hurts your feelings or offends you or that bothers you, turns into nagging, complaining. So we're talking about how to do that, how to turn those around into requests. So yes, in relationships, we can easily become comfortable, complacent, and quite frankly, lazy with communicating effectively and constructively. This is true for new and existing relationships. It can happen to the most well-intentioned couples. And this, my friend, is an example of the proverbial work that is needed for relationships to succeed. Good relationship habits ideally would be developed on the onset. You know, you're just getting started. You think, hey, it's new. And that's really when you want to work on it at the beginning. Now, we'll talk about the existing relationships in a moment. But when you're just meeting someone, getting to know someone, that's the time to kind of talk about the things that matter to you and to bring those to the forefront, because you want to know sooner versus later where your person is on things, how they feel about things, how they have responded in the past. And you're looking for honesty. Like you've heard me say many times before, people will say whatsoever in the beginning, but the reality is you have to allow time to unfold, to verify and validate if what they indeed told you is true. So communicating is critical from that perspective, not just to hear the words, but to see if in fact they're telling you the truth, right? And hopefully they're listening to you the same way, because this is not just one way. This is on both sides. This is what both people should be doing. And if the person is not used to it, that's okay. Encourage it. If you're someone who's aware, if you're someone who's whole, and this is something that you know that's a premium to you, it's something that you place a high value on, communication, then encourage your person that you're getting to know to do the same. If you're in an existing relationship, guess what? The same rules can apply. You can start afresh, but it requires buy-in. It requires conversations. Okay. So it's not that you have to be just meeting someone, or you could be in an established relationship. It still applies, because just because you're established doesn't mean you're striving or thriving. You're just established. And I want you to win. And that means thriving and flourishing in your life, your loves, and relationships. Okay. Oh, quickly to all of you. I can't see your names in StreamYard, but welcome. I'm happy you are here. Unless you accept the permissions, I won't know if it's you, but I certainly will acknowledge you and happy you are here. So thank you for the hellos, happy Fridays, and the greetings. I appreciate you to life. All right, so let's get into it. Like I said, once good habits start out in the beginning, we hope to develop those. But here's the thing, guys and ladies, right? We have a lot of runtime. We have a tremendous amount of runtime doing things the way that we've done them. That's why they're called habits, right? And we think because we've done these things, and some of it is really subconscious. That's what habits are. It's not anything you have to actually think about. It's a matter of you just doing them. And so, because it's subconscious. And so we do things that we've always done, but just because we've always done it doesn't mean it's going to yield the outcome. And we wonder why we're frustrated. So it requires someone to be introspective, to be thoughtful and intentional, right? When they share, when they deliver and communicate. Right. And ask again, the person to do the same. In short, I earnestly believe most people desire healthy relationships. I just don't think we know how to get there. That's the truth. Because if you didn't want a healthy relationship, why are you in it? I mean, it's a matter of being honest with oneself, right? But it's so true. It's so very true. We just don't know how. So fellas, question. When your lady expresses her displeasure, does it sound like nagging? For example, and let me just tell you, my examples may not be the best, but I think you'll get my point. And please share yours if you have examples of nagging experiences from relationships or complaining, right? Men talk about, we may use the word nagging. A woman may say he's complaining, right? So the net result's the same. Right. The outcome is that we're at odds and we're not on the same page, and we want to fix that. OK. So an example. We don't go out like we once did, or we used to. We don't date anymore. Or you're always late. You never accept responsibility. Using words like always and never. Not a good thing. Ladies, when your man expresses his displeasure, does it sound like complaining to you? I don't know, say he says to you, you don't cook anymore. You pay attention to everyone else but me, the kids, your family, the dog, you know what I mean? He may even feel like it's an honorable mention. Not cool. And so we miss each other, right? We have these frustrations and we don't understand how to navigate and deal with them because they result they manifest in nagging or complaining. And so we want to learn how to turn that nagging, if you will, those complaints into requests. Is this making sense? Any questions so far before we go on? Because I'm going to get to a few things that may help you with figuring this out. Okay. And please type your questions in the comment. And while you do that, oh, by the way, this is Sip and Chill. So I'm going to do that right now. Apologize for that noise. That wasn't good, but that's tasty though. I have to tell you, it's quite tasty. Okay. So turning complaints into requests. For example, instead of saying we never spend any time together, try this. Would you be willing to discuss intentionally setting aside time for us? That makes so much more sense, doesn't it? It's going to be better received. Why? Because you're not attacking, you're not criticizing, you're not complaining, you're asking a question. Now, please understand, don't do that sarcastically or facetiously. That's not going to go over well either, right? The idea is to build cohesion, unity, harmony, right? By requesting, not complaining. That's why this is important, right? Just an example. Another may be this. Instead of saying, put your shoes away, really not trying to break my neck on these stairs. Your mother doesn't live here and I'm not your maid. Anyone heard those before? All right. Maybe try this. Would you please place your shoes in the bin by the door? I put that there because I realize that you kind of come in and drop your shoes here or wherever but just please help us out and leave them in the bin. right? It's a conversation. And when you do that, now you're finding out if the person is amenable to saying, wait a minute, okay, that's cool. I can ask a question. Now, maybe some of you are thinking, man, it's too late in the game for that. No, it really isn't. Once again, if you're not getting the results out of your relationships that you desire, why would you not do something different? It just makes sense to me. Oh, by the way, sometimes I get passionate. For those of you who are just meeting me, some of you will send me on YouTube. Listen, I'm not fussing. I'm not. I just want you to win. And so sometimes in my delivery, it may come out as if I'm fussing and yelling and stuff, but I promise I'm not. I'm just very passionate about your relationship success. That's all. That's all. Yeah. So last one before we get into the things. Instead of saying, you always say it's my fault or you never get it right, try this. Would you be willing to specifically say what bothers you rather than using words like always and never? Yeah. So let's be clear. No one always does anything and never does. It's impossible because no one's perfect, which means although you may do it often, I may do it often. Guess what? I'm human. I'm flawed and fallible. Last I checked, you are too. Remember, what is the goal? Is the goal for us to build and grow together or to continue existing and eroding away a foundation that we both said we wanted to build? Yeah, it's a thought. Okay. So I thought about this and I really want to, there's 5 things that I want to share with you that how you can turn complaints into requests if you choose to, and if you want to have a better success rate than you currently experience. I have some thoughts, and I'll tell you and I'll deliver it this way. It's what it will require. Okay. The first one, it will require more than a conversation. Yeah. It will require effort, patience, resolve, and willingness to understand your person's frustration. It will require discipline to not be dismissive or tone deaf because you're tired of hearing it or don't want to hear it. Okay. I touched on this before about just people having conversations. It's going to require your conversations to be undergirded with agreement. What do I mean? Why do we keep having conversations? Why do I keep repeating myself? Simple. There's no agreement. Do you know why there's no agreement? Because we didn't know to create it. We just kept having conversations. What does agreement buy you? Accountability. So if you have agreements around your conversations, when we are human and our human element shows up, and sometimes we make mistakes, so we do something that's frustrating because again, we got these habits. We have a lot of runtime with bad habits, so we're talking about building new habits. Okay, so how does that work? You have agreements. And so when we go off the rails, instead of having another conversation, instead of getting gaslit, instead of being told you're crazy, instead of being told you're tripping, you remind the person of the agreement that we had. And that's how you keep your person and each other and hold each other accountable. That's why you do that. Number 2, it will require a desire to connect more deeply and communicate more constructively with your person. Seek to understand how we can develop a deeper emotional connection. This is going to be tough for some folks. And I know that because there are things that are just uncomfortable. Because what I'm talking about, folks, is there levels of vulnerability that are required, right? This isn't about pride and ego. This is about a measure of vulnerability. Why would you do it? Because you care about your person and you care about the relationship. And if those things aren't true, then none of this matters. Yeah, hate to break it to you, but that's real. That's real. Any questions? Want to make sure we're tracking. You're not going to be here long tonight. This is cool. It's Friday. The weather's changing. I know y'all want to get out and do your thing. I'm not mad at you, right? But yeah, I got a few more things for you, but I definitely don't want to rush through them. I want to hear your thoughts. If you have comments or questions, type them in the comments. Otherwise, we will keep moving. Number 3, it will require learning each other's love language and learning to love one another as they need to be loved, not the way you want to love them, because there's a difference. Listen, the 5 love languages, right? You have quality time, touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and gifts, right? And so knowing, like, oftentimes we may love people, again, the way that we want to be loved, but it's not the way they want to. And so to establish that deeper connection, pay attention to what they're showing you, right? If they say this is how, and not even so much that they say, watch what they do. You know, it's not just the words they say, it's the actions you observe. That's how deeper connections. It's like, I noticed you. Listen, telling your person, I noticed you admired this. I noticed you like that. Suggest that you're paying attention, not, oh, you told me you wanted this, so I did it. It's a difference. The deeper connection suggests that I don't have to verbally and audibly express myself continually because you're paying attention to me. You are aware of me. Absolutely. Absolutely, mine. 100%. Both people do have to be willing. And so thank you for that. Because let me be clear. This is about buy-in. This is a relationship. This is not what you need to do, and your person doesn't need to do anything. What did I say? The communication, the conversations should be undergirded with agreement. So you're not continually just having conversations because you agree on how we communicate. We agree on the things that seem like nagging or complaining. So we don't do those things. And so, oh, you're doing, my fault. I thought we had an agreement that we wouldn't do that, you know, instead of just having another, it's like, oh, wow, because you bring people back. Because listen, we all miss the mark because we're human. But if you have an agreement about how you move, you can establish a new rhythm. And so absolutely, it requires both persons' participation. It doesn't work otherwise. It doesn't. Number 4, it will require learning how to effectively design your relationship. And by doing so, you gain accountability and agreement. Many of you have heard me speak about that before in design, because what it does is it keeps both people honest. And we kind of touched on that with undergirding your communication with agreement. It's no different than being clear on what you value in your relationships and sharing that and asking your person what they value and understanding if they care about what you value. Listen to me. It doesn't mean that they got to love what you love, want to do what you want to do. But because they care about you, what matters to you matters to them. And hopefully the opposite is true, because we're talking about partnership. We're talking about working together. You cannot be in a relationship alone. If you're in an existing relationship, the struggles are real. And you have to work through those things, or be willing to, because it's bigger than you. Why would we do these things? Because I love us. I don't want to lose us. If that's true, that gives you the courage and the motivation to do the work, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, because you recognize it's bigger than you. It's easy to get mad, frustrated, and throw up your hands and say, I'm out of here. But once the dust settles and you're no longer angry and this person is no longer in your life, what are you left with? Was your pride and ego worth it? If the answer is yes, then hey, that doesn't really matter, does it? But if it isn't, I'd encourage you to consider what we're talking about. I really would. Yeah. Lastly, it will require remembering why you do any of it. And I've said it a few times. It's because you care about your person and you care about the relationship. Listen, I don't do this because I want one person to hear it. If you're in a relationship or considering a relationship, these are things that if you're in a relationship, please pay attention to. If you're someone considering a relationship, encourage a person to listen also. And if they don't listen, that's fine. Ask them. Ask questions, people. That's what I want you to understand. Don't just go on, we talked about it. Because what happens is if you just talk about it absent of agreement, you're destined to repeat those conversations, and you're going to have some challenges along the road down the line, and you're going to become frustrated, and it's going to look like nagging and complaining. And so if you build the foundation with requesting and not complaining, you got a better shot. You do. You really do. Does this make sense? So, yeah. Consider that. I keep making this noise. I'm sorry. But the ice cream in. My bad. But hey, it's sip and chill. So that happens, right? Yeah, that's it. We're not spending a bunch of time on this. If you got questions, let's talk about it. Let's absolutely talk about it. But that's really where we are, folks. You know, it is a worthwhile endeavor if your relationship and your person matter to you. And I hope that they do. And I hope that you matter to them. And I hope that they're willing to participate with you in learning how to turn nagging or complaining into requests. Yeah. So, hey, listen, like I said, we're going to wrap this kind of quick. This is actually interesting. Maybe this format is better because sometimes, you know, in the past we were on a little bit longer. And so the comments coming in, you know, I don't see any questions, which is fine. But appreciate you being here, sincerely. And yeah, this is going to be cool. So those of you on Facebook in the group checking it out, hey, welcome back to the lounge. Those of you in our YouTube lounge, welcome. Happy you are here as well. And yeah, hang around. I got one more thing for you before we get up out of here and let you go for the weekend. But yeah, if you got questions, definitely reach out to us and you'll see how to connect with us in the next piece. Hey, listen, have a fantastic rest of your evening, a wonderful weekend. Please stay safe. It's your guy, Coach Reg, and I love. I'll see you soon.